Good afternoon, everyone. I am your host, Mike Asherbrenner, with Hounds of Business Presents Mike King Biz Radio, ESPN 106.1, and Richmond RVA. So excited. I'm still sick today. I think half the world is. So, folks on the live stream, folks on Radio Land here, thank you for tuning in. We strive to give you the best and most relative, up to date business owners, services, and solutions to help you move your business and corporation forward. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and run the video and get a good friend of mine from Montreal, Canada. Amazing value here. I'm super excited that I even forgot I was feeling ill today. So let's go ahead and run that video and get this party started, guys.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbrenner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right, it's already a fun time backstage, man. Wow, we're just a little pack of happy gremlins out there. So, hey, without further ado, hey, I love having these international guests. Again, thanks, Mike King, for bringing these folks and this opportunity to partner together. We love rolling with you, man, because you love to push up your community, nonprofits, and special business folks that are getting things done, make a major impact in the world. And on that note, welcome Isabelle Fortin, good friend of mine, team leadership strategist. How are you today, my friend?
I am fantastic. Thank you to you, Mike, for inviting me again, and thank you for to Mike King for this wonderful opportunity and to showcase what we do and how we do it.
Absolutely. We already have folks coming into the chat. Thank you, Tracy Lamb. Folks in Radio Land, hey, connect with us on YouTube, Hounds of Business. Lots of great info. You can watch this recording live. You can watch it on YouTube after the fact and connect with these amazing people. So you are the team leadership strategist. Hey, tell us in brief, what is that?
Well, a team leadership strategist is somebody that helps and support and guides the team leader to get the most out of every single individual because teams are built one person at a time. So that's why it's a strategy, and that's why my title is strategist and not coach. I'm not a coach. I'm a strategist. I'm a consultant, and so that's what I do. I help heart-centered leaders.
Oh, well, you said the key word right there, right? High
That's
level,
right.
heart centered.
That's
Dadgummit.
right.
That's because I mean, think about it. There's tons of people who do what I do, you do, similar things, right? There's titles, accountants, etc. But there's only one of us. And people really today, when robots are talking to robots and disingenuous stuff is everywhere, the soft skills have never been more important. The sense of belonging, connection, this person gets me, they're in my best interest. That's what people are really shopping around for. And then when you build that know, like, and trust, and then you have that natural progression to try and buy, what's left. And you have done that very, very well, inside and outside of the pack. So this is really fun to me. So let me interject a little bit. It doesn't matter. Does it matter? And can you help, the smallest startups or scale ups and, nonprofits, large corporations? It really doesn't matter, does it? They all need this. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mike. And because you know what? The world changed with COVID. We all know this. We're all still affected by everything that changed in the past just 4 or 5 years. But leadership has changed so much, even in the last decade. It used to be all about command and control. You were the person in charge, and you were in charge of getting things done. Now leadership, the definition itself has changed. Now it's no longer
Really?
getting things done. It's about being in charge of the people, right? Because if you don't understand people, you don't understand business. So it's about the people. And that was one of the major pivotal points of the last 20 years, but especially since COVID. We all
Oh, yeah.
needed more more empathy, more soft skills, more understanding. We all needed to tap into that, and I think that that's what created. That's the positive thing that came out of it.
Yeah, oh, there was yeah, as tragic as it was, and it was very tragic and
Yes, it was.
awful in many ways.
Yes.
There were a lot of silver linings, that come out of these kind of tragic things. And that's one of them, and this is why I love this show and the Hounds of Business and you and everybody, because grassroots never I don't think in modern history, and comment if you disagree or agree, in the comments, but I don't think we've ever seen such a resurgence of especially business folks and movements from the ground up. School teachers are like, "You know what? It's not gonna fix itself, right? Powers to be are gonna fix it. We're gonna take charge." And you saw all these positive outshoots, and this is what you're doing. It's not woo woo or anything weird. You've
Mhm.
helped us. You've helped me, right? Any community, teams, there's a dynamic, and it's like it's hard to explain. Maybe you can help us, but instead of saying this person's bad or not smart or whatever, it's usually just the system error. You're like, fixing the system, tweaking, how we can conduct meetings, right? Things like this, putting in checks and balances. Little things can make a huge impact, and that's what I've learned from you the most. So back to the original question, what is human-centered leadership, and why is it so crucial? Because you kind of touched on that, but kind of how's it different from traditional? Like when you dive in a little deeper.
Well, it used to be, like I was saying earlier, it used to be very much command and control, and command and control was from the top down, right?
Right.
So CEO passed some orders, and there were orders. There was nothing collaborative about it. There was nothing about tapping into the zone of genius or the unique abilities, and everybody was a number. And that's
Right.
how it was even when I started my corporate America career, right? So it's heart centered. Leadership is about tapping into every single unique abilities of every single person. Because what that brings, Mike, to the table is, as a human being, and you're the same way, I'm the same way, everybody that I ever have worked with or for, and I'll even take that one step further, anybody I know on this planet, we all want to contribute. We all want to do
Yeah.
our part. We all want to be part of something bigger than us. Unless we're a sociopath, and I mean, the percentage of sociopath in the world is, 3 to 5%, which isn't a lot. So for the rest of us, we want to contribute. And part of it is ego based in the sense that we want to be valued. We want to be seen. We need to be seen and heard. And the best way a leader can do that, it doesn't matter if you're leading your family or if you're leading a Fortune 500. If you go and you expect people to show up without giving them the opportunity to show up with who they are, it's not going to work. So heart centered is exactly that. Is you have something unique about you, and I am going to tap into that. So that way you know exactly how you're contributing, and you know you are seen, you are heard, you are valued, because no one can do what you do the way you do it. And when you succeed at doing that, again, Mike, whether it's with your children or with your employees, you get the most out of people. And that's what heart centered leadership is. It's not only about business, it's about people.
Oh my goodness, there's so much to unpack there. Like you're talking about it the way I understood it, a more harmonious, effective, and efficient life, right? Like again, this is not hokey stuff. Business
No,
leaders are going to benefit not just because there's smiles on their faces or they're being like Santa Claus. And you've taught me this. It drastically a healthy culture drastically reduces turnover and expensive unnecessary retention cost, right? All of this stuff that people are
that's
doing, and a lot of this stuff is either free or the value far outweighs the investments that people and corporations would invest in, right? So it's like you put in one, you get back 100 kind of thing. And I want people to hear that. This is not just about feel good. Even if you're kind of on the hardcore side of, well, it's business and suck it up. Hey, just look at the bottom line. That should be enough to push you over the edge to at least explore options to stop the headaches. Whether you're a
Absolutely.
CEO, oh man, whether you're a startup CEO, scale up, the day I started reaching out to other people like you and so many other brilliant folks that had keys and experience that I just didn't have, oh man, everything changed, right? Amateurs do things alone, right? I was an amateur for 40 years. But top level pros, business athletes, man, they have multiple coaches, right? And what you
Absolutely.
do is very unique, right? And it's useful. I'm saying, hey, help me. I don't say that if it's not true, dadgummit. So let me ask you this. What is the biggest, speaking of money and retention costs, right? What is the biggest money and time waste for team leaders?
Oh, infighting.
Oh, you
It's
didn't hesitate on
hands down. Yeah, hands down. And leaders feel like they're dealing with school kids that are fighting for a parking spot and the best stapler or the best chair or the best corner office, and none of that matters, and none of that truly matters to the actual employee. Is that when you don't know how you're contributing to the team, you're going to fight for power, because power is
right.
how you're seen, is how you are heard, and is the value that is brought onto you. So when you remove that pettiness and that petty infighting, and when you get all of your team members, and again, it doesn't matter if it's your family or your boardroom, because it applies to everything. When people know that what they bring to the table is unique and has value, they don't care about their bloody, I was going to swear, they don't care about their bloody stapler. They don't, because that's that hands down, that's the reason CEOs, team leaders, middle management, they all deal with petty infighting.
Yeah, okay, first of all, if you wanna hear a good healthy potty word or 2, hey, check out the Hounds of Business on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on YouTube or LinkedIn. There you go. That's always a good time. We try to behave right here. So thank you.
Yes.
And number 2, on a serious point, on that, give us, if you don't mind, can you give us an example of how this, typical workplace, right? So how this kind of infighting would waste time and money, and some strategies that you can implement or help them implement to improve it.
Oh, very easily. I actually have an example that it happened, that a team that I worked with not too long ago, and team of extreme, like, these people. There's a team of six post PhDs, like researchers, like very, you know,
Very smart.
government employed, like really intelligent people. Team of six could not get along to save their life. And you're talking about an extremely intelligent people. So intelligent has nothing to do with it, right? I went in, I was
Right.
hired, I went in, I did an assessment, an individual assessment of everybody. I did a group assessment, I did a leader assessment. And when we did the team debrief, they understood that on a cognitive level, on a motivational level, on a behavioral level, it was like five of them were bunnies and one of them was a cougar. They just
Right.
didn't, they couldn't talk to one another because they didn't know how to. But when the five understood that the one that keeps on, wanting to know what you did over the weekend, for example, or needing a little bit more of a human connection in her office interaction, once they understood that that wasn't the pet peeve of hers, it was a need. That's how she functions in the world. That's how she shows up in the world. That's a behavioral preference. It's a cognitive preference. It's a leadership preference. It's a communication preference. The infighting stopped day one. As soon as the team debrief was
Wow.
over, they stopped fighting, because now they understood that they're each and every single one of them have their own need, and that person, she's not being petty, She
Wow.
just needs a little bit more human interaction. And some people need more and some people need less. You'll take somebody and you can literally walk in their office, and the less words you say, the better. You don't even need to look at them in the eyes. You don't need to ask them how their weekends were. They don't care about that. They're extremely task oriented. Well, there are some people
Right.
that are the complete opposite. I'm the complete opposite. You walk in my office and you don't acknowledge I'm a human being and I have a life and I have things to do outside of your demands on me. I'm going to walk you out of my office,
Right.
right? Because that's a need I have. I need the human interaction, right?
Right.
So it's about tapping into what's the best way to communicate with you. And when I talk to you, what's the best way to communicate with you? And the easiest, I know I'm dragging in my answer, but the easiest way I found to explain this, Mike, is let's say you and I go to Greece and we're in a remote village. Nobody speaks English, nobody speaks French because I speak French. Nobody speaks anything but Greek. And you and I, we want something from these people. We're at a restaurant or whatever. We don't have a cell phone. We don't have Google Translate. We don't have a menu with a picture. So how are we going to get understood? We are going to have to adapt to them because we want something from them. So it's the same thing. If I want something from you, I need to adapt my language to your communication preferences because that's how I get something from you.
Right. If you want to be a leader that's in charge for the people, right? And not just, against the people on accident. And this is the brilliance. I can tell the passion running off of you. You do this all the time and
Yes.
it makes a profound impact. I'm serious. All the leaders out there who are investing in migraine medicine, take a listen to this. Hey, real quick. So I'm going to pop up your I'm gonna pop up our link real quick for kind of the halftime here, man. This conversation, we got to dive into it, especially the assessment and kind of where it goes from there because that blew me away, and very few things blow me away. So hey, again, hey, you're rolling with the Hounds of Business, Mike King Biz Radio 106.1. Man, we bring you some of the best and up to date, most innovative business solutions and people that you've ever seen. And hey, we've got Isabelle Fortin here as proof positive from Montreal, Canada. The Hounds are showing up in drones on this live stream. Folks in radio land, hey, birds of a feather flock together. Thank you for joining us. And hey, let's get back on the subject. Oh, real quick, Hounds of Business. Hey, if there's a stray running around out there and you're high level heart centered, check us out. YouTube, Hounds of Business Community, LinkedIn, same thing. You can even go to my very outdated, but still their website, redneckfinancialcoach.com. We are working on it. And so back to the subject on Isabelle Fortin, team leadership strategist. What is so when I took this assessment, I'll be honest, guys, I know no other way. A while back, she said, "Hey, take this assessment." And I was like, "Oh man," I just assumed it was a personality test. I was like, "Oh, not one more." But I did. I said, "Look, we're friends, we're in the community.
I'm
Let's
going to
do it."
take 15 minutes and help her out.
Yeah. Go give her the polite but BS answer, right? We come on now. This is big boy
And
girl
I
stuff.
shocked you, didn't I?
It did shock me. I said, "Oh my god!" It's like somebody peeking in your window. Like, how did you know my dresser was over there? It was so telling because I had been in a transitional period of
Mhm.
trying to improve in strengths and weaknesses, and this thing not only showed me where I was, but where I was going. Right? Like, here's your baseline, and here's your progress. And I'm like,
Yeah.
there's like a genie or something. It was really, but it was eye opening because when I realized how I viewed the world and interactions with people who didn't view it the same way, didn't view
Mhm.
business and I mistake this. This is powerful. I mistake that miscommunication in different styles for not being aligned in our values, which everyone who's heard me understands how important values are and alignment are in friendships and business.
Mhm.
So, anything you'd like to add on that? Because I don't want to spill the beans, but here's what I do like. It's like a medical doctor. You're not out here just throwing fluff around. If you sit down and diagnose and try to really do a checkup, you're the first to tell them, "No, you don't need me." This is why I love it because but if you can help them, yeah, they're gonna know it, you're gonna know it, and that's it. So it's not about just selling a service that you
No.
regret. that you do an assessment to make sure 100%, hey, I can help you. So tell us about it a little bit.
Well, there's two things I want to say about that. First of all, it's not a personality test, and thank you for
Right.
pointing that out, Mike, because it's not a $30 personality test on the internet, it doesn't cost $30 either because it is an in-depth cognitive, behavioral preferences, communication, and leadership preferences. It is based on science. It is inspired by four different tests that exist. It's been around for about 20 years. It is based in Switzerland, and it I've done a lot of tests. I've done a very good tests before. This one is particularly thorough. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to say is there are a lot of leaders who want me to assess their team members because they want to know more about their team members. And the first thing that I ever do with a new client is assess the leader. And the reason is, Mike, because we are all that way. We all think that we're extremely self-aware. There's actually data on this. The data says there was a Harvard Business Review article written on this after a 4-year study on self-awareness, and 95% of people claim to be extremely high self-aware, when in reality, that real number is more between 10 and 15.
Oh, I believe
So that means what that means, Mike, is on the good day, and I'm including myself in this. Okay. So that means that on a good day, 80% of us are lying to ourselves about the fact that we're lying to ourselves. Okay.
that's
So that's
right.
what it means. So when I start dealing with anybody, whether it's an employee that wants to maybe shift its career, or it's a leader that want me to assess their team or themselves, or I even have couples that come to me and say, we're having communication problems. We want to know how to communicate better with one another. I'll do that as well. Although I am a leadership strategist. That's my zone of genius. But the first thing is evaluating the leader, right? Because again, 10 to 15% of people are highly self aware. And we all kid ourselves thinking that we know ourselves very well, and we don't. And guys, I'm including myself in this. I have my assessment done every 2 years, and every 2 years, I learn something new about myself. And I think that's great. I really think that's great. If I
It
knew
is.
myself and I didn't know, and if I thought at 52 I would have nothing else to learn about myself between now and the end of my days, I'd be bored um, out of something.
Keister. Keister. We can say Keister, I think. We'll find
Okay,
out.
keister. Okay,
It's a
so see, I
Keister.
wouldn't have thought of that word.
Yeah.
So
Tailpipes.
so that's the first thing, is the things that you learn about yourself is incredible. And I get a lot of resistance, and the higher up they are in the leadership scale, and the more resistance I get.
Yeah.
No, I'm not like that. And then I'll ask a few questions, and then they go, oh yes, yeah, oh damn, yeah, I am like that.
It's
So
like holding a mirror up. You
yes,
just hold the
it's
mirror up to,
exactly, and it's an
yeah.
extremely accurate mirror.
Yeah. No, I was blown away by it. I'm like, I'm trying to pick it apart. And I'm like, hey, instead of being stupid and wasting time picking it apart, just
Yeah,
utilize it to improve. Right. So,
yeah,
and it did. So again, hey, people in radio land, hey, against the ordinary, no weird spelling. It's against the ordinary.org, correct? That's
yes,
the website they can tap into.
that's
It'll be
right.
up and shiny and running fully Friday. So
Hopefully,
but in the meantime, hey,
it will be.
link LinkedIn, you could find that's the if you're not on LinkedIn, what's wrong with you? Go, hey, that's the place to be. Go, go, go. Sign up. All right, find the Hounds of Business, man. Plug in. Don't do this alone. So let me ask you, we only got this we're coming to the end. I hate this.
Gee
My gosh,
whiz,
we could talk forever.
already?
Yes, I told
You're
you,
gonna have
man.
to
Time
have me
flies.
back.
My goodness, we had to have a part 60 for every every guest. All right. So let's ask the juicy question again, because
Sure.
people want to know real stuff. This is
Yeah.
this is real stuff here. This is like old Mike King does all the time, right? What is the greatest common quality that you've noticed in every great leader, well, that you've worked with?
Oh,
Right.
adaptability. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The greatest leaders I have ever worked with are almost chameleon. Chameleon. You will look at them, talk to one employee, and then employee two walks in their office and they change their language. Naturally, they change their language, and sometimes they'll even change their accent or their sense of humor or the way that. And I'm back to what I was saying earlier. If you and I go to Greece and we want something from the Greek merchant, well, we better adapt ourselves to how he likes to communicate or what he's capable of, how he's capable of communicating, because we're in a position of wanting something. So adaptability, hands down, the greatest. And the second, if I can stretch my luck, and the second is they provide the task, or they share the vision, and then they get the heck out of the way. And leaders, micromanagement is the worst thing that you can do. It's
Oh,
telling your folks you don't trust them. um, yeah, so great leaders adapt the themselves, and they get the heck out of the way.
yeah, great stuff. Again, that's one of the things that I'm learning and becoming more intentional about adaptability from you. Right. And that's why you can see me sit here and not say nothing for long periods of time because this show is not about Mike Asherbrander. It's about Isabelle Fortin, the team leadership strategist, right? And so, and again, do I want to be right or do I want to be effective? Right? We're here to make an impact, to grow our business, make change in the world,
Yeah.
positivity. I'm not here just to be, well, I want to be this way. Well, then you're not going to be successful in the long run. So let me wrap this up with the final question. We got about 2 minutes and we got to row. I hate this. We'll have you back. Again, everybody on Radio Land, againsttheordinary.org. Find Isabelle, ISA, Isabelle Fortin on LinkedIn. Um, she also has a YouTube channel, but we're going to update that. We're going to squeak it up because she's got too much content. She's on a roll, guys. Hey, I'm serious. You wait 2 months, you can be on a waiting list. Don't do that.
And a
Hey,
long one, yes.
yeah, probably
I was
already got it.
I was telling you, a post yesterday went viral. I got 250,000 views on it. Now I got a lot of DMs. So you want to work with me? Hurry up, dude.
Exactly. I mean,
I'll make
because it's
time. I'll make time.
valuable.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing when a non BS, honest approach and value is seen.
Right.
It's not rocket science. That's what
That's
we do
right.
together. So,
Yes.
all right,
Final
do you have
question.
any advice for inspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, or new, people who are new or even transitioning, right?
Get
Or what common mistake do they see and how can they fix it? However you want to answer it. Floor is yours.
get the first thing is get training, get help. In corporate America, only 6% of leaders get leadership training, and I can't believe that companies are still doing that. They're taking like the top salesman and they're putting in him or her in charge of the sales department. Well, leadership is a skill, and it can't be learned in a book. It has to be. I mean, there are great books out there. I'm not saying otherwise, but it has to be practiced, and it's not a one size fits all. Every theory that you read is not going to be applicable to you, and it's not going to be applicable to your team. So the best way to get that done is hire somebody
Yes.
who's used to it, who can see more clearly, because that's their job. And back to what you were saying earlier, amateurs do it alone, pros hire people. The time you are going to save is going to be greater than the money that you're going to spend on hiring someone like me.
Absolutely. I hate to do this. We have to close, but I heard something from video of David Goggins the other day. Same thing. He says, listen, don't be a theorist, be a practitioner. You're saying the
Yes,
same thing.
yes,
Learn it, read it, fine. But you got to put it in place. And I'm here to tell you guys, hey, don't let your ego get in the way, leaders. You can't see the forest from the trees. That's why chiropractors don't crack their own necks, probably, right?
exactly.
So go out there. Look, I've said no to stuff I wish I didn't because I didn't know what I was saying no to. All I encourage people is get the information, have that first appointment, and then go from there because we're struggling way too much in business and life unnecessarily when there's tools and resources and good people like you out there, Isabel, and so
Thank you,
many
Mike.
in and outside the hounds of business. So, hey, our pleasure. Thank you for having us again. Mike King, Biz Radio. Man, the audience, you guys are amazing. Mike King, love your heart, how you push up your community. We will be back on next week, all right, with the Colonel, all right, retired U.S. Air Force, Scott Heathman, Command with Courage. What he's doing in the business world, absolutely
Amazing.
impactful and yeah, revolutionary. I'm telling you. So stay tuned for that one. Isabel, you're a rock star.
Thank you.
Connect with her immediately, and you all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.